the last 2 years for our industry have been unique. Is that the right word? Challenging.
Yeah.
Starting, in March 2020, with going into an abyss of the unknown, of wondering if we're going to survive as an industry, and making it through that. Certainly in a very challenging time, linking into around the beginning of this year, where most of the industry was going absolutely crazy with unprecedented levels of business. Sadly, partly as a consequence of conflict in Ukraine. But now we're talking major inflation, and something I learned in economics class a long time ago called stagflation, which is a concept we haven't seen, I think, since the 70s or something like that, where you have inflation and a recession at the same time, which, as I understand, is not a great combination. How do you see our industry over the next 12 months? Where do you think we're going?
Well, I think, the outlook for me is quite positive, although obviously the international situation and conflict and overall climate for business is not that great. I think the resilience that our industry shown during the past 2 years is really what gives me faith in the future. We've entered the COVID crisis thinking, okay, that's the end of our business. Everybody's going to work from home. Everybody's going to do Teams meetings only, and nobody's going to move ever again. But as you said, the last year shows that that's not really the case, and that, businesses still need people to meet other people to go forward and move forward. There's so much we can do through team meetings and so on. So I don't think we're on the verge of seeing our industry crumble. To the contrary, I think we're going to see, if not an increase, I mean a steady business for the upcoming year. There are lots of new topics that are coming in and that we are dealing with on a regular basis during our roundtables of Tira, for example, like digital nomads, which is really one of the big new topics that are big trends that are under our industry these days, that make it all the more so important to have such an industry as ours, because companies are reaching out to us and saying, okay, since COVID, I've had employees in the Bahamas, in this country and this country, but now they're getting sick. They are having trouble, and now what's going on? What am I going to do? So this is where they realize that our industry is there to help them, and this is really in that context that an industry stalwart like Tira can help in creating best practices, bringing the best of the best together in order to bring a coordinated response to those big new topics. So I'm really hopeful for the next 12 months and 12 years as well of our industry, because I think there will always be topics for us, and there will always be trends where we can bring value as companies, but also as organizations such as Tira.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. That makes me feel a lot better. I share your feeling that whilst things may not be as insanely busy as they have been this year, they could drop off somewhat, and we'd still be just fine.
Yeah.